Hello, math friends. Today we're here to talk a little bit about how you can use the order of operations with integers. And I invited a special guest. This is my dear Aunt Sally. Hi, Aunt Sally. Oh, hello, everyone. It's so great to be here today. Aunt Sally, you taught me a whole bunch about the order of operations and how it works. And I was just wondering, I know you have a lot to do today. You have some books to read and some coffee to drink, but do you think that maybe you could review with me what the order of operations, how it all works? Oh dear, I would love to. Remember, we use PEMDAS. Remember, that's what we use. The P is for parentheses. The E is for exponents, those tiny little numbers. You do those right after your parentheses. And then remember, honey, we always talk about multiplication and division. They're kind of married because you do multiply and divide from left to right. And then finally you have addition and subtractions, and they're partners too. They are buddies. And they do add and subtract again from left to right. You can still use PEMDAS just like you did for those other easier numbers when you have integers, my dear. It works forever in your math life. That's what makes it so powerful and why I had to tell you all about it. Oh, Aunt Sally, you are so sweet. Thank you so much for stopping by. I super appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy a few good books or maybe a game of bridge today. Oh, I will, honey. My friends are waiting. Bye-bye. All right, so let's use what Aunt Sally told us to try to solve a couple of order of operations problems with integers. So if we were to have something like this, maybe it would be like a negative 30. Remember, the negatives are where the integers come in that make these problems different than what we've seen before. Divided by maybe, or negative 30 minus 6 divided by a negative 2 plus 8. Okay, let's go for it here. So let's use what Aunt Sally told us. Parentheses. Well, there are parentheses around the negative 2, but those parentheses really are just to remind us that that's negative. So we're not going to worry about that. I don't see any exponents. So now I'm to that, what Aunt Sally said, that married little group of multiplication and division from left to right. So I look, and sure enough, here's some division. So I'm going to go for it. I rewrite. I have my negative 30. I did nothing to that. Minus 6 divided by negative 2. Oh, 6 divided by 2 is 3, and it would be a negative 3 plus 8. And I could put some parentheses around my negative 3 to help me. So I take a look. It looks like I got rid of all my multiplication and division. So now I'm going to go to these pairs, addition and subtraction, and go from left to right. So I just go ahead. I do this first operation. Oh, look at this. Is awesome. I get to stop, chop, chop, and I get negative 30 plus 3. Negative 30 plus 3, that's going to give me a negative 27 plus 8. And my last step, just do the negative 27 plus 8. And negative 27 plus 8 is going to give me a negative 19. And there's my answer, negative 19, using my PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Excuse her, she had to take off for a little date. Okay, so let's try another one where we use those same rules again. And again, we have integers. This is the other part that sometimes students find a little bit tricky, is when we use the fraction bar in these problems. So if I have something like this, maybe 6 squared divided by negative 2 times 2, and then we use the fraction bar or division symbol with a negative 12 plus 15 underneath. Okay, so now I'm going to go to work, and I look, and I really can treat the top and the bottom as two separate problems, because this fraction bar is also, or division symbol is also, a grouping symbol. It says, hey, do all of this on top, do all of this on the bottom, and then finally divide at the end. So let's try it, okay? So I start, if I look at just this problem up here, I don't have any parentheses because these are just keeping my two numbers separate, and this should have been a -2 in there. And then I look, I do have exponents. There we go. All right, so I'm going to rewrite 36 divided by -2 times 2. All over -12 plus 15. So now I look and I say, oh, I'm at multiplication and division from left to right. So I'm going to do this 36 divided by -2. 36 divided by -2, well, 36 divided by 2 is going to give me 18. And since that's negative, it's going to give me a -18. And then I have times 2 all over -12 plus 15. I keep going here. I do the -18 times 2. Well, -18 times 2 is going to get me to -36 over -12 plus 15. I could go ahead and do that operation as well. I get a +3. And finally, I do this division. -36 divided by 3 is going to give me a -12. So my final answer then again is -12. Awesomeness! Using that fraction bar, using that order of operations with our dear Aunt Sally. Super awesome. Thanks for joining me. Go get her done with some order of operations.